Good morning, traders. It is 7:27 a.m. Chicago time, 8:27 Eastern on Tuesday, the 28th of November, 2017. Thanks for joining me on another pre-recorded Trader Bite. I'm pre-recording these days as there are issues with my broadband connection, and I'm not heading into the office, so I prefer to pre-record them than to have you attend and see a poor quality broadcast. So. The issue with pre-recording, of course, is it puts us quite a distance away from the open. In case there is movement between now and 8:30, doing them with a closing at 8:15 Central, 8:20 Central, puts us fairly close to where we're going to open. It makes it easier for me to read. However, it's not an issue. The trade is slow enough right now that taking an overview uh, approach doesn't make a difference. With that being said, derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. The market this morning allocating to risk slightly, not the seeing a gap up in the S&P, the Russell. The Eurostox 50 in Europe are strong this morning, up 15 points or 0.42. They're leading my quote board right now. Again, the Russell is up 4.3 to 4.1 to 4.3 points, or about 0.25%, followed by the DAX, the Dow Jones, the Nasdaq, and so on. Crude oil is a laggard again today. Crude oil's trading at 57.60, down 51 cents or 0.88%. The British pound is down, the Japanese yen is down, and the euro is down. The US dollar as an inverted trade to that. The US dollar index is up 0.12% or 11.5 cents. That's how things are shaping up overnight. Not seeing too much on the news feed. There's a lot of chatter this morning regarding the U.S. tax bill. Um, More and more senators or Republican senators are getting on board with the tax bill, and it is looking like it's getting closer and closer to passing, unfortunately, for you and I. Uh, so that's on the news. Just look out for that. There's continuous releases on that. Other than that, let's take a quick look at what we're expecting for today. This morning we got U.S. advanced goods trade balance, wholesale inventories. At 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern, we get FHFA housing price index. We also get S&P Case-Shiller housing information. And then at 10 o'clock Eastern, we get Richmond Fed and also consumer confidence. The calendar also has several Fed speakers. We have Fed Speaker Dudley at 9:15 Eastern, Fed Speaker Powell at 10, and Fed Speaker Harker at 10:15. Again, just a lot of news flow, and as I said yesterday, this week is fairly busy with releases. Here's what we expected yesterday. So the primary hypothesis, the expectation was for the market to open sideways. We were opening right in the thick of Friday's shortened day. So I was looking for to go sideways, test down into value low of Friday, around 2650 or so, and then push up through the overnight high to about 2605, and then go sideways for the rest of the session. That's not entirely how things happen. We did have put in a high of 2605.50, but really what worked out was the secondary scenario. The expectation is for a quick splash up to the overnight high to about 2605, and then for the market to rotate down. As you see this is the video from yesterday. As you see down here by the date, and the expectation is for a push to balance at the MC point of control. That's 25.98. Let's take a look at what actually happened. Here we are. Actually, let's look at it on the 15-minute. Pretty much what was expected. We pushed up 2605.50. Remember yesterday's high, overnight high was 2605, and then we had our burst down just like I drew, and we went down a tick through that. A tick through the 2598. 2598 was the point of control, the MC point of control and balance, and we went to 2597.75. So we pushed through by a tick, and then from there, completely sideways. So what we accomplished here up to this point is scenario 2 on the nose at the high and the low. Again, this is what scenario 2 looked like. The high just above 2604.50. The overnight high was expecting 2605. We went to 2605.50. Impulse down as I drew here, and then a push to the MC point of control, and that's a key trade of the day there. And then, of course, this ended up going sideways afterwards. But at that point, our key scenario was done. We tested balance. We tested back to balance, and we are floating sideways. So that's how things are. That's how things played out yesterday. As far as the expectation this morning, well, let's look at the overnight. The overnight session, it tested a tick through yesterday's low. So there's yesterday's low at 25.97.75. It went to 25.97.50. Tested a tick low and put in a double bottom, a bona fide double bottom before starting to shift up. The double bottom statistics, double top, double bottom statistics at the IB high and low and at the day high and low that I work off of are day session statistics, not overnight. But in general, we do take those out. And what the market has done is since the European Open, which was right here, the market has simply floated up, creating a double distribution with a fat distribution up top, an LVN right here at the mid of the session earlier, 2601. And that's likely to be the dividing line today, and we are very, very likely to put in new all-time highs today. This is likely to continue higher and push through the 2605.50 all-time high that we got yesterday. We're still working our way to the doubled measured move target. It has acted as somewhat of a resistance so far, but we're likely to push through it today. As far as the expectations going into the session this morning, expecting a quick splash down this morning to test the LVN from the prior session, 2603. Remember, 2601 behind it is the LVN for the overnight session on a double distribution, expecting an impulse up to push through, expecting it to go sideways at the measured move and then push higher and then start to turn over at the end of the session. So the primary scenario, this is the key trade of the day today that I'm looking for. I'm looking for it to play sideways for a bit, suck in some sellers early, and then auction down to find buyers into the splash up, and then I'm looking for it to push through to have an impulse up and push to new all-time highs with a rest at 2606.50 or thereabouts, 2607. Remember, levels are not cast in stone or accurate. They're really zones in these products, and especially if the product's thinner, it's plus or minus 4 ticks or something like that, or 2 ticks for it to flow through, and we still consider that as part of the level. Secondary idea, the secondary scenario: push up early, get those buyers in real early, like yesterday. Push up early, consolidate, push up early, push up again, and then hold sideways into the end of the session, expecting it to turn down a little bit at the end of the session. So both scenarios are bullish. The tertiary scenario is to push up, consolidate, fail through the opening swing, consolidate, and then move back into balance with yesterday at the point of control. You notice that yesterday's point of control is in line with the shortened day's point of control. There's balance here at the 2600, and we may be attracted down to it again. So with this scenario, I'm looking forward to get a quick push, and I'm looking for a lot of green dots, like I'll show you right here. So what does that look like when you are trading it? This is, of course, this is the European Open, but it'll look similar. It'll look similar to what we would get on the U.S. Open, and what we look for is green dots against size. So this is size on the offer. This is size on the offer. So you can see there's a lot of size here on the offer. We can scroll back in time and look at it at that point, actually. So if this is all we've got at that point, okay? So we could see there's size on the offer here. There's this gray goes from dark to brighter. You see that? That's more size coming in. That's this size that you see here, more size coming in. What I'd like to see to get short on scenario 3, for example, is that's this line getting brighter as we push into it. I'm looking for green dots, and what do I mean by green dots? So if I move in here, what we'll see are green dots. Let's do that. Let's change the size of these dots. So this is very thin because it's overnight, but we would see bigger green dots against that size, against the size here. And so as the green dots come into the offer, they will eventually, in general, they're likely to fail, and then you'd start to get big red dots as late buyers step in, their trapped longs step in, and then we would see a quick splash and then a pullback and then a continuation splash, and that's my entry is on that pullback. So that's what I would look for here. So this is a little bit, this scenario looks a little bit like I would want it to be, like this. And that's basically what I'm looking at when I say I'm looking for something to lean against. Since we would be at all-time highs, I don't have any levels or areas, volume profile areas to lean against. I switch over to order flow. I use order flow and depth flow no matter what anyway for execution. I mean, this is the platform I use to trade with, but overall, this is what I mean by looking for something to lean against. So this is the main window that I look at when I'm about to execute. So those are the 3 scenarios there. I'll leave you with that. Again, I want to remind you, as I said last week, I want to make this a theme. What must you do today to win the day? What do you need to focus on today to move yourself forward and to win the day, to actually accomplish something with your day? Give that a thought. Make sure you have some plan for every day, and then just execute on it. Good luck, and I'll catch you tomorrow morning. Take care.